Welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is games. Now, I thought to myself, what would life actually be like without games? And then it occurred to me, life without games is like a game without players. And how messed up would that be, a game without any players? Uh, it, I mean, it, I couldn't think of, what you would do. So games are super important for everyday life, for what we actually do. And if you work to get rid of them, well, the very essence of the experience would actually disappear. And something I thought about and putting everything together was innocence, which kids have, knows nothing but play. That's why it's always having fun learning. That's why kids always have fun learning. But ignorance knows nothing but programming. So that's why it actually stays the same. And if we look at that, that's how you can look at the two. I think a life without games would be ignorance. You would just have programming that would do the same things all the time, no variation, no changes, nothing. There wouldn't be any growth. Innocence is where you actually get that growth, and you get most of it through actual play. So I was watching the movie Be Cool, and there's so many games that's essentially being played within that movie. And the whole idea is don't hate the player, hate the game. So if that is in fact the case, you cannot not like play, because with play, you actually get to have the game. With players, you actually get to play a game. So they go hand in hand. And kids are the best at this because that's how they actually learn. And they make an experience fun. And that's what we should do as well. That's what everyone should be able to do, is make the experience fun. Now, as far as looking up just a few definitions, just to cover full basis as far as what games are. A game is a manner of playing a contest. It's a set of rules governing a game. It's an area of expertise, or it is playing for a stake. Now, play was in there a few times. So play and game have to go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So with everything, I was working to imagine, because sometimes you have to imagine things that don't essentially seem as though they could actually happen, of what that would actually mean. And I know I have a pretty extensive game library back there, and those just wouldn't exist. Everything would be the same. So it's almost like coming into this earth, you would just be given certain programs. You wouldn't even essentially learn them. They would just be kind of ingrained in you, and that's it. And that's how you would go through life, and that would be it. There would be no changes in that. And that would be pretty tough, because I have a few favorites that I learned a lot from playing on a regular basis. Monopoly, you want to get to learn about finance. The life game, you want to get to learn about mindset. Jurassic Park, you can learn about urgency. So those things would be kind of disappointing, because I always love enjoying and learning through games. And then the stories that games kind of come from, and vice versa, those just wouldn't be the same either, because there would be no mystery to it. You wouldn't be looking to solve anything. So with that, you would also have this idea of this fear of failing. So think about that. Games allow you to practice. They allow you to just have an event run its course to see what actually might happen. And if you couldn't do that, imagine you had to go through life and you don't get to practice. Everything was like, go, go, go. You didn't have time to think. You just had to move. The mistakes, well, could you fear the mistakes? You could, but I think the mindset would change. I think there would definitely be a bigger fear for failing, for the fact that you couldn't practice. But in that case, no one could practice. There wouldn't be practice anywhere. So if you couldn't practice anything, how would you actually get better at anything? There would just be, you just do the same program over and over again. I don't think you would actually even get better. I think you would be the same. So how much would it stink to do the same task over and over again, knowing that you're not getting any better? That would be rough. That would almost be like, that would almost be like a curse. That's the best way I could actually think of it. And wow, probably the worst thing would be being a kid. Imagine being a kid in an environment where you couldn't play or play any games. And I think sometimes of the environments that we actually see where parents just have super strict rules and there's no room for kids to actually enjoy themselves. Like, that's a travesty. Like, kids will just have it so rough. I wouldn't even want to imagine that. The stakes would always be kind of high. I mean, it would just be a very hostile environment for kids. And adults, well, we are kids kind of grown up. So imagine not having the best childhood and then growing up. I mean, I think folks would just be angry. So we need games. Everyone needs games. Everyone needs to be able to play and do something different. And that's what life is all about. It's about the experience. And I don't think you can have the truly amazing stories without actually having the games that go along with them. The freedom that actually is incorporated within games, that comes through within the stories as well. So wanted to make sure I shared this idea with you. You cannot have life without games, because it would be like a game without players. There would just be nothing going on. You would be existing, but you want to be experiencing. And life is all about the experience. So I hope you appreciate this lesson. I hope you're playing games. I hope you're enjoying yourself. And man, just bring that kid at heart back. Like, make sure that kid that you were, that has to stay there. Make sure that never disappears. And if you ever feel you're in a position where all of a sudden you're not able to connect with that, just take a moment. Take a moment and just recognize how different life would be if you didn't get a chance to play games. So here's to playing games. I hope you are enjoying yours, and I appreciate you tuning in this lesson. And well, can't wait for the next one. All right, until then, bye.